The Ontario International Airport and the Ontario Police Department. Unity is maintaining aerial surveillance, and they're doing so while they're amplifying helicopter activity. They're doing so under the fake sun. You'll recall at 12:31 p.m. you saw the Ontario police gang stalking by flying over the same apartment complex, and that fake sun was right here over me at the front door at 12:31 p.m. The current time is 3:20 p.m. The Ontario Police is currently aware of the video documentation that continuously is published online, exposing specific names and badge numbers of the demons who are going to federal prison, gang stalking as a part of that corrupt department, and they are defiantly, continuously engaging in that gang stalking by helicopter, which is why the Ontario Police Department, entirely demon-infected department that are full of sex offenders, and that is not hyperbolic speech. They're engaged in terrorism right now, stalking in helicopter, and that is not sunlight. That is speaking to the condition of those who are gang stalking right now at 3:21 p.m. and the particular identity of that demon who is engaged in criminal activity committed by the entire Ontario Police Department, who is going to be prosecuted for also federal stalking and also criminal acts of obstruction of justice. While they're continuously engaging in gang stalking environment, that is not sunlight. That's reaching the depths of a third party's apartment. She's going to be locked up in a federal facility. This is not sunlight. This is criminal monitoring, and the entire property, Woodside Senior Apartments, is going to federal prison for gang stalking with Mike LORENZ, a sex offender who is engaging in and is facilitating, knows all about the evidence published online, and that's why he's permanently done with law enforcement. This is what Derek Williams was also engaged in. He has now retired. He is not escaping a prosecution for terrorism in California. There is no sunlight that's going to appear in this manner. That's not sunlight, and that's not sunlight. Okay, the entity is engaging in what is amplified audible activity using helicopters because demons who are mentally ill, who have no business whatsoever in law enforcement, they engage in what is the psychopathic pattern of conduct of engaging in more terrorism and acts of retaliation because they are hostile, because the world knows that the Ontario Police Department are demon possessed and they're gang stalkers. They are not a legitimate law enforcement agency. So I'm going to show you the fake sun now. While they are monitoring my evidence, they're aware of what's being published online, and the world is going to witness the foolishness of this corrupt department, and this is the reason why they are going to be disbanded. They're not the only department that's going to be disbanded. They also engaged in kidnapping, just like the Upland Police. That is the basis of disbanding. But they're group stalking using helicopters, and they're doing so while the target individual who's blowing the whistle on the state of California. Everybody in units 33 through 64 are going to federal prison. It's psychological torture that the Ontario Police Department is practicing, not law enforcement. They are not free to use any helicopters gang stalking in the specific environment. They do so abusing and wasting resources with the city of Ontario. Paul Leon is hereby publicly exposed as a demon-possessed gang stalker, fully engaged in and facilitating and knowledgeable about the public corruption that is the criminal conduct of the Ontario Police Department. There is no time frame where the sun would be present at this venue, as you've already seen in video documentation, at 7:18 in the morning. And it would have any sunlight here. This is not sunlight, this is engineered light that's reaching underneath a covered patio. Okay, this is a covered patio, this is not sunlight. This is also not anywhere at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles, where I documented the entity keeping a fake sun where the Los Angeles Police Department were gang stalking in helicopter. This is the criminal pattern of conduct by the state of California. Mike LORENZ is necessarily mandatory permanent removal from law enforcement for engaging in facilitating gang stalking by demons who are the employees of the Ontario Police Department. This is prosecuting the corrupt government. The city of Ontario is gang stalking, and that, by the way, is a light source. This is the same position where you see it at what is 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I've documented the entity keeping the fake sun setting here as late as 6:27 in the evening. You have a population of demons who are mentally deranged. The mentally deranged, the domestic terrorists in California who are, their condition is demon possession. They decide in their minds that they engage in more violence, more criminal conduct, as opposed to ceasing to engage in it, even as they are facing raids by the federal government and federal prison, deportation, which is how the city of Ontario is going to be treated. It is currently 3:24 p.m. where you're looking at the fake sun, where the entity is gang stalking in helicopter. This is where, again, the Ontario Police Department were gang stalking by helicopter, as you saw at 12:31 p.m. And this fake sun that's still here at 3:25 in the afternoon, it was right here over the front door. That's not sunlight, okay? So that's directly relevant to the ongoing acts of terrorism where law enforcement agencies are not free to be present because they're gang stalking. And that's what the federal government is learning. And everybody in these apartment buildings are going to federal prison. Every single last one. Units 33 through 64 are engaged in criminal surveillance. That is the intolerable facilitation. And while demons, who are corrupt police department, engage in terrorism, they incriminate the people of the state who are group stalking with them, living at a crime scene where a fake sun remains all day. This is where it's at 12:31 in the afternoon. That's not the sun. Neither did it ever reach any other state. It didn't even go to any other property. You've seen the fake sun in the position that it's at now over me at that street, which is Vine Avenue at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, that's the Ontario International Airport, the same corrupt government, D. WAPNER, who is being publicly exposed while they are wasting billions of dollars of resources on state surveillance. That's the entity now using a commercial plane where there is no Terminal 2 or Terminal 4, where you are at any low elevation taking off from that airport, that is speaking to what is audible activity, understanding what is the demonic pattern of conduct. That's not sunlight that's in the sky space. This is demonic activity. This is gang stalking by a corrupt airport. The Ontario International Airport has long demonstrated the lack of their needfulness in the city of Ontario, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Okay, you have terrorists that are being employed. They are literally making money and wasting money by engaging in terrorism, by gassing up and using planes to stalk over the Woodside Senior Apartments, just like the Ontario Police Department terrorizing by flying over this venue in helicopter right now. This is demonic activity. This is what Avanath Capital Management is going to be prosecuted for. This is what the people of the state are going to federal prison for. And you are going to federal prison for living at the crime scene where you're maliciously gang stalking with the demons that are the city of Ontario. The police department is gang stalking. The fire department is gang stalking. That's Avanath Capital Management. Avanath Capital Management that is gang stalking through their demon-possessed employees who live at the crime scene in unit number 41. You see them gang stalking just like this under the fake sun while the Ontario police are flying over my head. It's already on video. That's not a sunset, nor is the sunrise also going to be at the same property, which you've already seen on video. This is the prosecution of the state of California. All right, engaging in terrorism by helicopter, that's a communication of an unlawful threat to the life of an American citizen. And the entity does so while it's engaged in Title 18 federal stalking. Section 22618 subsections 1 and 2. And they do so revealing mental illness. The fact that you would engage in terrorism and stalking in helicopters. And you do so because you also seek to communicate a threat while the feds are aware of every single last one of those names of the demons that are working for the Ontario Police. Every single last one of them are done with law enforcement. Okay? They're not only documented on video, they are also documented on the podcast, and every single last one that has ever been documented, they're all going to federal prison. The Ontario Police Department shall be no more. This is the documentation supporting for the disbanding of a terrorist organization. This is, again, the use of the executive branch that is engaged in domestic terrorism in the United States. It is the prosecution of the state. And this is a facilitating venue where the fake sun, as a matter of documentation, remains all day long. This is exposing demonic activity. It is, again, 3:28 p.m. As you see a demon, that's Avanath Capital Management, crossing path, gang stalking in plain view. That demon is engaging in gang stalking, not the execution of a job. He's focused on me. He also knows that I'm capturing video of it, and that impunity on the record is also why him and all the rest of them are going to federal prison. You've seen them pacing around in this parking lot with engineer light all over the brick wall, all over the parking structure. You've seen the fake sun over my head in the middle of this parking lot. None of that is the sun. And then you see the fake sun over me when I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, when I'm at the Courtyard by Marriott in Hesperia, California. There is no sharing of this natural environment. This is the specific intent to engage in that P.O.C. with knowledge that it is exposed. D. WAPNER is also a corrupt demon on the corrupt city council, a bunch of gang stalkers in the city of Ontario, esteeming themselves as government actors, take over the property. Okay, which is not taking off over Terminal 2 or Terminal 4. They're at much lower of an elevation. They're flying in what is engineered light, and it's amplified inside of the apartment. They're doing so with the Ontario Police Department. P.O.C. It is currently 3:29 p.m. This documentation is, again, the basis to remove a corrupt airport, wasting billions of dollars of resources on criminal surveillance, employing terrorists at the Ontario International Airport, making money for demons, for terrorists like D. WAPNER. That's the president of a corrupt airport that is far from any Terminal 2 or Terminal 4 where you're at that elevation, audible, and there's certainly no sunrise. This is understanding the formula of demons who are gang stalking using planes and helicopters, and they're doing so with the community of demons who are going to federal prison for it. Everybody in units 33 through 64. And I am the focus. I've shown you the specific environment where the entity is keeping this engineer light. And you're understanding what has nothing to do whatsoever. This is the maintenance of engineer light. And as I capture this video, it rapidly disappears. It's not even sunlight in the first place. Okay, this is documentation of what is terrorism by the Ontario Police Department, who is a terrorist organization exposed. This is a band of demons. I mean, every single last one of them are demon possessed. And that's the purpose also of documenting the criminal conduct that the state of California has been practicing as a matter of documentation since 2018. And the body of evidence showing the demonic environment where they're doing it is speaking to the public safety concern that concerns you wherever you are in this country, or let alone in the world. But particularly, I'm in the U.S. I am enforcing my constitutional rights, and this is the executive branch that's engaging in terrorizing American citizens. And this is understanding that these are demons that are engaging in the abuse of their governmental positions, and these are demons that fill the population in the United States, and they're engaging in what is domestic terrorism. And that's why terrorist organizations like the Ontario Police Department, Mike LORENZ, they shall have nothing to do with law enforcement. Derek Williams, nothing to do with law enforcement. Retiring from the police is under no circumstances removing what you engaged in for years, as I've been documenting terrorism since 2018 by the sex offenders, the demons who are the Ontario Police Department. It is currently, again, 3:31 p.m. This is the same light activity that you see. That is appearing at 6 o'clock in the morning. This has nothing to do with the fake sun. It's a distinct method of identifying the pattern of conduct. The demons are stalking by commercial planes. The demons are stalking by helicopter, and the demons are stalking by living at the venue. That's what gang stalking is. This is P.O.C.